CGCP 2833 by Chesthetica. So we have some nice geometry in this position. The position is kind of symmetrical, the pattern towards the top and a different pattern towards the bottom, and the pieces seem to be concentrated in the lower left of the board. White has a pair of bishops and a pair of knights. Black has a pair of pawns and a single bishop. So white is ahead in material. Now it looks like the bishop on b1 is being threatened by the king. So perhaps the thing to do here is knight to a3. The knight is defended by the other bishop and it defends the bishop on b1. Okay, black perhaps proceeds with c3. White can try king to b4, bishop to c4, knight captures pawn, bishop to d3, bishop d4, setting up a discovered check, king to c1, bishop e3 check, king to b2, knight to d1 check, king to a1, bishop to d4 checkmate. A mate in 7 moves. Yet, if we look back at the original position, is there a better way? Let's see what the engines say. So why mate in 7 when you can mate in 4? Forget about the bishop on b1. Bishop to a3 check. Okay, now here, let's look at what happens if black doesn't capture the bishop on b1. Let's say he plays king to b3. Well then, king captures bishop. There's only one legal move, c3, and knight to c1 mates. So to last longer, the king has to take the bishop that white offered. And now, knight on the c file to b4. Anything black plays, for example, king to a1, knight to c3, the bishop can do anything, and knight to c2 mates. And if here, instead of king to a1, if c3, knight captures c3 check, king to a1, and knight to c2 mates. If bishop to d7, knight to c3 check, king to a1, and knight to c2 checkmates. Now here white needs to be careful. What will happen if white did not move the c-file knight, but instead move the a-file knight to b4? Well then the mate gets delayed. You can see the analysis. Because now, after c3, that pawn can't be captured. So white has to try knight to e3, and then c2. Now black is threatening to promote. So knight on the b-file captures the c2 pawn, king to a2, king to b4, king to b1, king to c3, bishop to d3. The bishop is actually irrelevant. King captures bishop, king to a2, knight to f5, king to b3, knight on the f-file to d4 check, king to a2, knight to e2, and if king to b1, knight to c3 mates, and if king to b3, knight to c1 mates on the 11th move. So not only do you need to know how to maneuver your pieces properly in a position like this, but you need to be able to see the opportunity. Again, the solution, if you could see it, is bishop to a3 check, sacrifice the bishop, knight on the c file to b4, this is important, c3, knight captures c3, king to a1, and knight to c2 checkmate. Thanks for watching. Until next time.